We're back again. We're doing this. Oh man, I'm excited. I got the goosebumps. Week 14, NFL. Let's fucking go. Let's join the rebellion. Alright, let's get the first game. We got the Tennessee Titans and we got the Jacksonville Jaguars. You know, I always say there's certain things in life, you know, like death and taxes and the Tennessee stack after Thanksgiving. I love it. Let's talk about that. Ryan Tannehill. The Jaguars want to lose. They want a better draft pick. Picking on this bottom three pass defense is an easy one for me. Let's look. You got Corey Davis and A.J. Brown. Only makes sense to stack them with Tannehill. Corey Davis is one of my favorite plays in cash. And then, obviously, we talk about Derrick Henry, who killed the Jaguars this time last season for 159 yards and 2 touchdowns. I don't see why he wouldn't go ham again. Across the field over there, Mike Glennon is in play. You know, he's been looking good. And he is going up against Tennessee's Titans, which are a pretty bad defense. So even if the Jaguars are trying to lose, they're still going to put up a fight. Every slate, I seem to look at James Robinson. I think he's slightly just priced too high in salary. But every week, he just proves to be fantastic. He gets so many touches. He just has to be a lock in cash games. He's great in GPP. If Glennon is forced to throw the ball so much like he's been doing, then all of his receivers on play. It was a bad week in the office last week for DJ Chalk. I think he has a bounce back week this week as he goes up against Brian Borders, who is just mediocre at best. So I do really love this game stack in my lines this week. Let's talk about this Chicago versus Houston game, and we can talk about the Trubisky, who is in a wonderful matchup this week against a really bad Houston defense. It's just funny to say that Trubisky's actually in play, and is it weird that I also like David Montgomery for his price tag? I'm playing him as well. But my attention is really going towards one of my locks this week in Allen Robinson. We already know how good he is. And do you know who he's going up against? The one guy I say to target every week to make you money, Vernon Hargreaves. This is an absolute slaughter fest I see coming. Allen Robinson's a lock for me in cash and in GPPs. Anthony Miller and Darryl Mooney will be fighting for the scraps yet again this week. So Jimmy Graham, but I love Jimmy Graham. Jimmy Graham's been one of his favorite targets in the end zone this year. So I do, but again, it's Allen Robinson season for me. I have some David Montgomery, of course. Let's talk about Deshaun Watson. You know, I always underestimate him, and I'm always proven wrong. Even last week, losing Fuller, and he had 2 turnovers, he still put up really good fantasy numbers. He did rush a touchdown in, so that will help him, but that's not taking anything away from how good he is. So he's certainly in play as well. I don't care about their running backs this week at all. But if you want to look at, you know, their receiving core, you know, Brandon Cooks, Kiki Kute, Chad Henson, they're all in play because he likes to distribute the ball. Henson is going to draw Jalen Johnson, though. Not totally liking that matchup. Kute will probably get the easiest spot against Buster Scrim. And then Cooks is probably going to see Kyle Fuller. So I do like Kute the most and Cooks the second most because I just love Cook's speed. It's really hard to just keep up with him. So this is another game that I really like as a stack so far. So these last 4 teams I just talked about are all some of my favorites right now. Let's talk about the Broncos and the Panthers now. Drew Lock has been wildly inconsistent. I really don't know what to think about him. I'd personally rather take Glennon over him this week, pretty much any week actually. Tim Patrick keeps on chugging along. He's really cheap and only saw 4 targets last game, and he turned it into a fantastic fantasy day. Jerry Jeudy also He's been kind of inconsistent. He's been pretty silent lately. Noah Font is in the same boat, and that's not really a shock to me. But you know what? I like Jerry Jeudy and Font in GPPs because both of those players are like they can go off at in any game. They're all consistent. They're main targets. Noah Font is a big cash game play for me this week. But I'm really not targeting Denver that much unless it's cash games. The Panthers, Teddy Bridgewater has been very interesting this year. He's had fantastic games. He's had kind of blah games. But the thing about the Panthers is, beginning of the week, I was really happy in the pants when Christian McCaffrey was coming back. Now he's doubtful, so I have the Sads. But also, DJ Moore is out. So you know what? That makes me want to lock in Curtis Samuel and Robbie Anderson into my cash lineups. Like, that's an automatic lock for me in cash lineups. GPP, I think that very much in play as well. I am going to absolutely butcher these names, I'm sorry. Anderson is going to square off against Michael Ojamodier, who he has like a 96.8 passer rating, and that leaves Samuel with a signed Bessie, and that's a much better spot. So Curtis Samuel will be my main target over Anderson. Other than that, there's not too much I like about this game. Obviously, Mike Davis is back in play. What about this Vikings versus Buccaneers game? I'm not really too much interested in Kirk Cousins this week. Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson are always in play. I love both of them. Justin Jefferson is closing the gap in air yards with 35.6% to Thielen's 40.9%. I think the targets are 87 to 84. Thielen wins that one. I do like him. I'm just not totally on him. Tampa Bay's passing defense is pretty good. It's been pretty decent. And the reason why I'm not too much on it is because I just love Dalvin Cook this week. There's nothing not to love, especially with people running all over Tampa Bay. Alexander Madison is out, which leaves even more touches for Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook's almost pretty much a lock for me in cash and he's and GPP. But what really is interesting, I think, is Tom Brady this week. I think the ultimate GPP play. People want to call him noodle arm. I don't think so. I've seen some pretty nice passes from him this year. Some of them are inaccurate. Some of them aren't. It's the players that aren't getting to the ball fast enough. It's like a mixed thing. People are blaming him too much. And the Minnesota's pass defense has been abysmal all season. So I think Tom Brady has a fantastic bounce back week. I think we have Chris Boyd is going to be going up against Antonio Brown. We have Jeff Gladney, who will be going up against Godwin, who is a mismatch. Godwin should have an easy day. And then we have Cameron Densler going up against Evans, and he's giving up too much height to Evans. Evans is taller. I think it's a mismatch, and I love you got to target the mismatches. So this is why all those defending players are just so mismatched with all these receivers. That's why I think Tom Brady's gonna have a field day. And obviously Gronk is always in play. He's been targeted a lot in the end zone. Tom Brady loves him. The connection is there. But one of my favorite plays is Ronald Jones. The last I looked, what's his name? Eric Kendricks is the linebacker from the Vikings is out, and that's huge. Especially when James Robinson ran all over him last week, I see Ronald Jones going ham, especially since I don't see Leonard Fournette getting as much play. It looks like he's trying to catch passes out there with frying pans. Let's talk about this Cardinals versus Giants game. Kyler Murray was off the injury report, but it didn't look like he was there yet. But he might be there this week, and if he is, you know how fantastic he can be. So he's always in play. Last week, the game script didn't really see... it wasn't in Drake's favor, and we saw more of Chase Edmonds, and he took over the snaps. I think this game is going to favor Drake a little bit more, so I'm back on Drake this week. Hopkins has seen his yardage plummet in the last 3 weeks, and he doesn't have a target that's over 20 yards among his 28 in that time frame. That is slightly concerning for his price because you need, like, on DraftKings, you need 24 points for him to hit 3x value. So I think I'm fading Hopkins mostly this week. Might have a couple shares. He's going against Bradbury, who's not anything to fear, but he did hold his own against DK Metcalf. So Hopkins in some deeper GPPs, so I'm going to have very minimal exposure to him. I believe Daniel Jones is back, but no matter if it's McCoy or Jones, I'm off him. It's been a really solid stretch for Wayne Gallman. I'm going to continue with it. Even when he's getting some touchdown vultured by Alfred Morris, Gallman has been producing pretty well. I think the only person I'm interested in on the Giants is Sterling Shepard, especially if Jones plays. He's going to be going up against Kirkpatrick, who he has like a 71 point. He's allowing a 71.1% catch rate. So I'm not. Yeah, I think that's an easy matchup for Sterling Shepard. All right, let's talk about Kansas City and Miami. Kansas City is electric. The Dolphins have been fun to watch. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. There's not much to say about the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. He's fantastic. He's one of my favorite quarterbacks this week. His floor is ridiculous. His ceiling is ridiculous. I don't care if it's Xavier Howard or Byron Jones going against Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill has been on another level lately, and he's matchup proof. And Kelsey. Again, there's nothing to need to be said about Kelsey. If you want to lock those three in, Mahomes, Hill, Kelsey, I think you're already on to a great start with your lineups. I don't care how chalky it is. This game is going to be high scoring, and all those guys are going to be scoring tons of fantasy points. And let's look across the field. Tua, he has his ups and downs, but I think he's going to be forced to throw the ball a lot. I think he's going to be pretty good this week. I'm not going to be on him per se. If he's garbage time, you probably could play him. That's GPP as hell. But obviously Devontae Parker is in play even after getting ejected last week. Parker's been fantastic. Jaceki has I think he's in a fantastic play this week. I just love this game. I just look at whoever you want on that depth chart. Play anybody from Miami that you think might get some production. I'm locking at least one of everybody in lineups just to get my exposure to them. I think they're gonna really have a competitive game. But if you want to go GPP, I really like Lynn Bowden, the rookie that got drafted by the Raiders and then traded to Miami. His snaps have gone up in the past 2 weeks. He's that dual threat type of guy. He's a running back, a wide receiver. He might be a really sneaky play this week. What do we do about this Cowboys versus Bengals game? I really don't know, but I don't want anything to do with it, but I think this might have to be in play for the GPP. Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins have kind of been held hostage by this quarterback change, even though Higgins has still been producing. So it's hard to say, but the Dallas Cowboys defense is so bad that, this could change. Because I wasn't really on Brandon Allen, but maybe it's tough. There has to be GPP only, and in deeper ones with a lot of people. Drew Sample is tied with Higgins for the lead in targets the past 2 weeks. Gio Bernard has been handling his backfield well with Joe Mixon gone. It's just weird. It's I don't know. I don't like it. It's ugly, but you know what? You need ugly in GPP. You absolutely need ugly in GPP. Talking about ugly, let's look at the Cowboys. I want nothing to do with Ezekiel Elliott. If he's going to give up on his team like that, if I was a coach or GM, whatever, I wouldn't want my team. And with that being said, I don't want him on my fantasy team. Go quit somewhere else. And I do have to say, Amari Cooper has seen at least 7 targets in the last 3 games. So he's a very solid play. I do really like Michael Gallup this week. He and Dalton have been getting a little better each and every week. I really see some big production out of Gallup. This might be Dalton's guy. I do believe Gallup is going up against LaShawn Sims, who should be a pretty easy matchup. So that's why, that is a good thing for me because I do have a lot of exposure to Gallup, especially in cash. So I may need to throw some of him into GPPs as well with that matchup. CeeDee Lamb is going to get the hardest matchup with Mackenzie Alexander. And then, obviously, Dalton Schultz has been pretty big target for a lot of people. I see him in a lot of lineups, and he's sitting at the top 12 in route percentage among tight ends. So he's a fantastic player as well. All right, let's talk about the Jets and the Seahawks. Sam Darnold last week threw 2 touchdowns, and he even ran one in. So you know what? Still not on him. He could throw 100 touchdowns in a game, and I will not be on him. I do not give a shit. So it looks like Frank Gore's not going to be playing, which means Ty Johnson is in play. Sorry, I just opened my mouth a little bit saying that. I guess, yeah, GPPs, yeah, maybe. I was actually kind of excited last week. I said it looks like Jamison Crowder was taking a back seat, and then boom, he took back over. So I was glad to see him back, and I was going to love him this week in PPR leagues. But now it looks like he's iffy to play. And Mims is also out. So this is just interesting because now all the focus is going to be on Perryman and Berrios. Yeah, we're going to see some Berrios action again. He was pretty productive those few weeks, like last month. So I will have some exposure to Perryman and Berrios for sure. I absolutely love that. That's kind of tempting. And yeah, I know, like, obviously Sam Darnold has to be good enough to get them the ball, and I hate him, but it's GPP, gotta get ugly. I actually like the Jets' defense this week. Is that weird? Russell Wilson has like 15 turnovers, so I don't see why they can't get one on him. So, if Jets are going to be like minimal priced, fuck it. Gee, I like that. Yeah, but talking about Russ has not been what he was in the first few weeks. Let Russ cook. He's obviously been turned off a little bit. He turned the gas off and he's been relaxing. Maybe he's baking now. I don't know. But he can be back and play. Maybe he can find it. I don't know how you feel about Chris Carson. On one hand, he racked up 110 scrimmage yards and a touchdown last week on 16 touches. On the flip side, Pete Carroll is admitting that he's not fully healthy, and Carson has under 60% snaps. Carlos Hyde is always there. He's always taking touches. He's getting targeted. He's taking snap percentage. So they're both in play. Pick your poison on that. Obviously, you lean a little more towards Carson, especially against the Jets. I think if they're up in a lead, you're going to see a lot more Hyde so they can rest Carson, and I don't see why they won't be in the lead. DK Metcalf, he's always in play. He should absolutely run all over this Jets defense. Tyler Lockett. I know both Metcalf and Lockett are within 2 targets in red zone and end zone work. Metcalf leads the entire NFL in yards and has scored 9 times. So, again, that's another one where you pick your poison. You obviously want to go Lockett if you want the ownership advantage on that one. And then, obviously, their defense is in play as well, just with how bad Sam Darnold has been. Okay, let's talk about my boys, the Raiders against the Colts. Oh, man, I should have been heavy on Derek Carr last week. Dave told me to play him, and I fucking didn't listen. Oh, my God, I'm so mad at myself. It's my favorite team. I didn't play him. I'm not really interested in the running game this week from the Raiders. Obviously, everyone is going to have shares of Henry Ruggs after last week. We all know it was coming. He's one of the fastest receivers in the league, and that is exactly why they drafted him. I don't know why they haven't done that more often. And he's going to be going up against Rock Ya-Sin. Ruggs is sub 4.3 in the 40-yard dash, and Rock Ya-Sin is over 4.5. Kids, that is a massive difference. He should blow Rock Ya-Sin away, while Nelson Aguilar is going to see Xavier Rhodes, which is something I don't want to deal with. With that being said, Darren Roller is just one of those guys where you don't need to say anything else. He has been wildly built differently this year. He might be one of my favorite tight ends every week going forward. Let's look at the Colts. It hasn't been pretty, but Phillip Rivers has been seeing the results stabilize recently. So, he is definitely in play. I do have shares of him in my cash lines for sure. Do we go on Tyree? Do we chase the points from T.Y. Hilton? He's been such a bust all year. So maybe he's starting to pick it up. And he is going to be seeing Nevin Lawson, who has gotten smacked this year, and he has like a a 114.8 passer rating. So maybe Hilton will just continue to ride the hot hand that he had last week. Michael Pittman has been a fantastic rookie. Dave's been all over him. I don't know what to do about the tight ends are so weird. It looks like you just have to have shares of Doyle, Burton, and Ali Cox in like if you do a max, like max multiple entry. Because one week it's gonna be Trey Burton, one week it's gonna be Ali Cox. It's so difficult. You need to do multiple entries if you want to have anything to do with that tight end situation. And it took a bit of time, but the Colts ended up giving Jonathan Taylor 16 touches, and he hit for pretty good fantasy production. So I'm really hoping he continues getting that production, the touches, and because I have a lot of shares of him in season long, and we're in the playoffs now, so maybe I'm just being biased. But no, he's a good running back. Everyone was really high on him coming out. Naeem Hines seems to be in play all the time, but I kind of just want to forget about him and just keep taking shots at Jonathan Taylor, especially against a lot of people think, especially with the Jets doing what they did last week against the Raiders, that Phillip Rivers and the Colts will be up, so they're going to be running the ball down the Raiders' throats a little more. I'm hoping that's not the case as a Raiders fan, but we'll see. The Packers against the Lions. Let's talk about Aaron Rodgers. Aaron in a dome at Detroit is a recipe for a nuclear slate-breaking performance. Oh, Aaron Rodgers has torched Detroit in the stadium throughout his entire career, and he's been playing some of the best football of his life. I think he's going to go nuclear. I really do. And obviously, you're going to pair him up with the top right out in the league, Devontae Adams. Nothing else needs to be said about that. If you want to pair him up with anybody else, Lazard, Scantling are there. Robert Tonyan has been a fantastic sleeper. I think this is a lock him in. Oh my God, just lock Rodgers in. But if you want to fade that a little bit, I might understand, because if you think this is a Aaron Jones week, he is obviously he is your guy. The upside, he's proven to crush Detroit. He rumbled for 236 on the ground and 3 scores in week 2. The downside, his snap count remains fairly constant at 66%. Doesn't mean he still can't do big things with that. And then look at the Lions. Galladay's still out. I'm just assuming he's not going to play the rest of the year. So Marvin Jones is still the lead, and normally I'd be all over that. But he is going to see Alexander. So I don't like that at all. That's a tough matchup, which would put me on Amendola and Hawkinson. It could very much be their weeks to do some production. If you want to get deeper, you can obviously look at Quintez Cephas or Jamal Agnew. I really wish I knew if Swift was going to play or not, because I really love Swift. He was my favorite rookie coming out the draft. Favorite running back rookie. If he is out, Adrian Peterson would probably be the fit there, even though I do think they're going to be playing from behind. I'm not so much on Matt Stafford unless you want to go after him for garbage time production, which, could be a thing for sure. Last but not least, we got Washington going against the 49ers. After Washington walked in as big underdogs against an undefeated Pittsburgh and slapped the black and yellow out their mouth. Big props go out to Alex Smith doing what he's doing after a career and life-threatening injury. Is he in play this week? Absolutely in play this week. Antonio Gibson is out, so I am locking J.D. McKissick into at least 90% of my cash lines. That's an easy one for me. McLaurin has coming off the worst game of his season. But both McLaurin and Cam Sims both play about 20% in the slot. So I'm saying that because Cole Beasley just torched the 49ers in the slot. So they could possibly see some production in that area. Obviously, you're going to lean more towards McLaurin than Cam Sims. But, they're both in play for sure. Steven Sims does see the slot about 68% of the time. So he only has 8.8% target share, though, so that's what's kind of tricky. But Steven Sims, after what Cole Beasley did, is 100% in play, especially in GPP purposes. Let's talk about that huge game Logan Thomas had. Oh, my God. And I've been big on him all year, so I'm glad to see him have that big where he went bonkers last week. Not so much on him this week, but he's 100% in play. I don't see why he wouldn't be. He has some great connection with Alex Smith. He's just a fantastic player. Across the field, I really don't want anything to do with McMullins. Not saying he's not good, just I'm not interested. Last week we saw Mozart and Jeff Wilson both over 40% of the snaps. Mozart had 9 carries while Wilson had 7. And then Coleman and McKinnon each had 2 and 3 carries, respectively. I do like Mozart the most. Obviously, his speed is just fantastic. But Washington is like top 10 against the run, so he can obviously burst into he can grab a catch and then burst that speed and make it into something big. So Mozart is the one that I would like out of all of them. Brandon Ayuk has been fantastic. I was talking about him in the beginning of the year for week 1. How much I liked him when going to the 49ers. I thought he'd be fantastic there. He has a huge arm reach. I think his arm reach is 6'9", his wingspan. It's crazy. Debo Samuel is fantastic. They both have, Ayuk and Samuel both have right around about 21% target share. Ayuk leads the team in air yards. So that's kind of difficult to choose which one you like. I'm pretty sure Ayuk is going to see Kendall Fuller, while Debo is going to draw Ronald Darby. Neither one of those scare me, but I do like Brandon Ayuk a little bit more this week. People keep talking about Jordan Reed, and I keep falling for him. Oh yeah, maybe, and I'm done. I'm done falling for the. If I don't play him and he goes off, then so be it. I will take that loss happily. I don't have much to say about that. Not too much on this game. I do, like I said, like Ayuk, I like Mozart, and then Steven Sims, McLaurin, Cam Sims. I think they're all in play. Okay, let's talk about the Saints and the Eagles. Everyone thought Taysom Hill was just going to be like that one and done thing when you were able to put him into the tight end spot and then never deal with him again. And here he is, being pretty productive each and every week. Is he in play? Yes, he's in play. I'm not personally on him, though. I'm not even really totally on Alvin Kamara, though I could definitely see him hitting 3x value. And on, I know on DK you get that bonus for having a 100-yard game. He's obviously eligible for that easily. My main focus is on a fantastic cash play in Michael Thomas. Taysom Hill has been dialed in on him, and for good reason. He's one of the best in the league. He's going to see Darius Slay, but Slay's been banged up, and he's allowed a 70% catch rate. It's not. I can't get excited for Sanders or Traquan Smith, so I really don't have much to say about them. Jared Cook, though, he has a great matchup. The problem is he's been the third option for the passing game, and with a target share of under 11%. So he's basically touchdown or bust, but against Philly, I would give him a chance to get that touchdown, or even 2. Let's look across the field. Interesting, huh? Is it Jalen Hurts season? I don't know who this helps more. I don't know who benefits from him becoming the quarterback. I was originally thinking Miles Sanders, but with Hurts's legs, he could steal some Sanders running. So, kind of interesting. Sanders, he barely played 50% of the snaps last week and had 10 touches. But is he in play this week? Yeah. I think he has to be. I think he's going to be. I think there's going to be a lot of dump off passes, little quick passes to Sanders, and that's what I think the game plan is going to be. I could definitely be wrong. Who to stack Rich Hurts becomes an interesting proposition. Greg Ward caught a touchdown pass off him last week. Everyone's wondering why they're not using Fulgham. The thing about Fulgham is he deserves the spot. He's earned it, but he was never the guy. He was the number 4 guy. I mentioned this on previous podcasts that once Rager and Alshon Jeffrey, they all come back, got it, that Fulgham was going to take a back seat, and he did. he fell to just 40% of the snaps. I mean, I don't like it. I think Fulgham's fantastic, and I think Alshon Jeffrey's done. But that just is what it is. I knew that was coming. It's sad. But Justin Rager continues to be a non-factor in the passing game, and I think he draws Marshawn Lattimore this week. Though Matt Lattimore has not been has not been good, so that doesn't really bother me. I think all I'm going to stack with, if I'm going to stack anything with Hurts besides just Sanders, it would have to be Goddard. Even with the return of Zach Ertz, it didn't affect Goddard at all. Ertz only played 44% of snaps. So I think Goddard and Ertz might be a fantastic pairing in some deeper, big field GPPs. All right, let's talk about the Falcons against the Chargers. Matt Ryan has been a total roller coaster, huh? Up and down, up and down. But he's always in play for me. He's absolutely always in play for me. He can explode at any given time. And I was really excited to do a Chargers stack and bring it back with Julio. But Julio's out. So I can obviously do that with Ridley now. But Ridley is going to see some Casey Hayward, so that kind of turns me off a little bit. Not that I'm saying it still can't happen since he's the main target. But yeah, Matt Ryan and Ridley are definitely a fantastic stack. There's been a lot of people talking about Todd Gurley is looking to have a big day in the house that he helped build. Okay. I don't think there's much reason since the Rams have a brand new stadium, but whatever floats your boat. I'm off it. If that beats me, damn. Other than that, no, that's it. I just like Ridley and Matt Ryan. I'm off Hayden Hurst. Russell Gage, maybe. I don't know. It's interesting. But let's talk about Justin Herbert, where we finally saw a rookie game from. And obviously it came in the hands Bill Belichick. Man, we should have saw that one coming, huh? That was embarrassing, but you know what? He's back in play against a bad Atlanta defense. Let's talk about these bounce back spots. Give me all the Austin Eckler. Give me it all. He's likely to be popular. That's fine. I like him in cash. I like him in GPPs. He's had 22 carries, 15 receptions, and 25 targets. He dropped to 60% of the snaps because of the blowout, but that doesn't matter. I think, like I said, he's going to be a bounce back. It's pretty rare that I ever stack quarterback, running back, wide receiver, but it is absolutely in play this week with Keenan Allen, who's seen 21 targets in the 2 games with Eckler. So I think those two together with Herbert against the Falcons this week might be one of my favorite 3-way stacks, 100%. Mike Williams is in play as he goes up against the rookie AJ Terrell. AJ's been pretty good. He has a 118.8 passer rating. He's a rookie, so you always like to target those rookie defenders. And oh look, another Chargers player in a great spot, Hunter Henry. I absolutely am going to have many stacks with the Chargers. It could be Herbert, Eckler, Henry. Instead of Henry, it'll be Williams. Instead of Williams, it'll be Allen. Maybe get rid of Eckler and use 2 of the. I think this is the stack that I want most of, besides for the KC stack. All right, guys, I appreciate you. It was a short one this week. Dave had a lot of Christmas shopping to do and stuff. I had a lot to do. So I'm sorry it was short, but hopefully it was enough information to just give you ideas. Because remember, nothing I say is gospel. You don't have to do it. It's just ideas. Guys, thank you so much. We're up to over 1,100 people on Facebook. We're getting more subscribers to YouTube. I appreciate it. I would love if you all kept subscribing and listening. And I love that you guys DM me too on Facebook. I love to chop it up for you guys. You give me ideas. I give you ideas. And that's how we make winning lineups. So, listen. Keep doing that. It's been going pretty good this year. At least for me, at least for Dave. We're in the green. Hope you guys are. And you know why we're in the green? Because we're taking over. Because this is a rebellion.